Paradigm Shift Radio is your show as much as it is anyone else's. This is Skull Babylon, and you're tuned in to another community roundtable episode where we open the lines up for anyone to get involved with the conversation. Among other things, the topic we leaned toward was the importance of conscious eating and why it's worth considering changing your diet to include less meat for both health reasons and moral reasons. Subscribe and rate PSR on iTunes, and be sure to tell friends about it so they too can get involved with future episodes. Enjoy the show.
Enlightenment is a mystery, yet it is also as clear as day. The best way to answer a question is to show rather than to tell. And no one single person can change the world. But together, day by day, we can all make small changes. And life is what you make of it. Hello, international friends. This is Skull Babylon, aka Brendon Wolfshield Culton, hosting you tonight for another awesome episode of Paradigm Shift Radio. And this is episode 54, live here tonight on July 13th, moving into the psychedelic Sunday of July 14th, which is going to be pretty awesome because that means it's only a few more days until my birthday, which is on July 18th. So shout out to all the other Cancerians out there. Recently coming off a full moon, and that's always an interesting thing. Cancers, if you know anything about us, very moon-oriented and very emotionally empathic and very creative, and everybody's got their own interesting traits. So talking about astrology and zodiac stuff, maybe one of the things that we'll talk about here tonight, later on in other episodes, in other conversation here tonight on the episode of Paradigm Shift Radio. For those of you who may not have tuned into the show before, feel free to join in, because what we're doing here tonight is a roundtable discussion. So I mean, literally roundtable. Think back to King Arthur and his knights of the Round Table. They knew a thing or two about magic and esoteric knowledge and alchemy and the way of the warrior. And it was a different time back then, and who's to say that we're not just emulating it nowadays in just a modern day context. So shout out to all my fellow knights of the Round Table here tonight on Paradigm Shift Radio, and to everybody who is listening in, and to everybody who will be joining us in the conversation. Of course, you can check out all the information for Paradigm Shift Radio at facebook.com/Paradigm Shift Radio, and ParadigmShiftCentral.com is the main website that you can go to, and there you'll find out that Paradigm Shift Radio is a branch of Paradigm Shift Central, and Paradigm Shift Central is a global collective of communities that encourage open-mindedness, healthy living, and the evolution of consciousness. And one of the best ways to be able to promote the information that we're talking about here tonight on the show is to be able to continue to share it further. So whether you are listening in or are actually engaged in the live chat, guys, please take the link that you're listening to and just copy and paste it into your Facebook pages, into your Googles, and that is greatly appreciated, because that will help get the word out there to more people. And the more people who are involved, the more people who are aware that something like Paradigm Shift Radio exists, it just makes it more interesting. Things begin to accelerate. You start taking steps closer towards critical mass. So that's essentially what we want to do, guys, and it takes a team to be able to change the world. So any effort that we do is multiplied by the of us that are engaging with it. And we here at Paradigm Shift Radio like to think that we ask a little bit more of you. It's good to be passive, it's good to listen, but we also want to be able to encourage you to be engaged either through the radio show, so I mean whether that's calling in, whether that's sharing it on pages, sharing it wherever, or whether that be the next step of actually getting involved with starting up a Paradigm Shift community in your area. And as you know, that's something that we always want to be able to root back here on Paradigm Shift Radio. That's essentially one of the main reasons of the show. In addition to just being about practicing conversation, it is about being able to encourage people to start building the tribe in their area. And what do I mean by that? Well, when you think about this whole consciousness, this shift in consciousness, this conscious evolution that is happening, I like to think the idea that there are already people in our locations and we are already synchronistically connected to them. It's just a matter of sort of reaching out and reconnecting with those long-lost newfound friends. Is kind of a cool way to think about that. So we'll be talking about that a bit more on the show tonight. I think we're going to be hearing some updates from some of the other Paradigm Shift communities and what's new with them. And I would like to be able to share with you guys just the recent success with the Paradigm Shift London community. Facebook.com/Paradigm Shift London. That's London, Ontario, Canada. Yes, there is such a thing, and we have a Thames River, and we have an Oxford, and a Dundas, and a Richmond Street, and it's a very interesting microcosm of the macrocosm. And I think it's no mistake that a lot of stuff has been able to occur here in London, Ontario. I've mentioned in past episodes that London has been used as like a demo city for places to take place, for like new products to come into like practice. And I find that it's a very optimal place to be able to bring in new tactics to be able to help expand the growth of my local paradigm shift community. So again, facebook.com/paradigm shift London, and of course facebook.com/skullbabylon, youtube.com/skullbabylon for anybody who wants to connect with me personally, whether you're in London, Ontario, or otherwise. So what I've been doing recently, and I mentioned this on the last episode, but I just wanted to follow up on it because it's it's yielded success. And that tactic is using the power of awesome buttons. And those of you who have sort of seen stuff that we've been doing in the past through Paradigm Shift London, you would have seen that we've been using the button tactics for over a year now, on and off. Though I recently got a hold of my buddy's button machine, so that's like put me into an opportunity of being able to like not have an excuse to work more with the button tactics. And these buttons, somebody double check this for me just because I don't want to lag out the show. ParadigmShiftCentral.com/buttons. I'm pretty sure that's the page. It's either plural or not plural. And that will just give you the link to the video for the Shift Is You, where you can see these buttons in action. But the basic way how I do this, going back to the idea that like part of the theme for the show is us to be able to encourage other people to use similar tried tactics that are effective in one location so that we can do it in other locations. Like this is me reporting back from the front lines of like this shift in consciousness that is like taking place like right here. Like part of the way how it's happening is through the power of buttons. And when I say buttons, I mean symbols, and the symbols on the buttons are the one thing as to how they work. And the buttons also have a website around the edge for the ParadigmShiftCentral.com and Facebook.com/ParadigmShiftRadio, so it links people into the website. And the whole idea with the buttons, I do sell them for a couple bucks, and I also give them away for free. I try to give people like their first button free is kind of a cool way to do it. And then basically like through the money that's raised from people purchasing buttons, it goes back into buttons. And then the other cool part about it is that, again, the main thing with Paradigm Shift communities is that we do have physical meetings. That's when I talk about community, like that's the emphasis, is that you want to be able to have physical meetings, and these meetings are reminiscent of what we're doing here in terms of open discussion, practicing talking about things, and you want to have meetings where people can just begin sharing their thoughts and ideas and practice listening to all this paradigm shifty stuff, and let's get into that as we continue to evolve the episode. So whether that be about like astral projection, like lucid dreaming are always the popular topics, and just anything related to like energy and chakras and meditation and any sort of stuff. You guys know what I'm talking about: UFOs, Sasquatch, the whole shebang, fairy folk, dragons. I was talking to someone about dragons today, actually. But what I was saying though, so these the funds raised from these buttons, what I've done with them, and I think this is a very cool idea, and I encourage someone to do this too. And again, you guys can order buttons from me. And you can do that by emailing me at brendon.paradigmshift@gmail.com. And if you do that, then I'll hook you up with the buttons. Right now, it's $1 a button plus shipping as it is right now. And that's still an awesome deal. And basically, like when you have the buttons, one of the things that I'm using the funds from is to actually buy crystals. So I buy crystals with the buttons. Like I just buy like a bunch of quartz, and then I put them in a little bag, and then I give them to people who come to our weekly meetings. So I've only done this once. I've only like given, the button energy into crystal energy, and then like given that back to people. And basically, like, that's a really cool thing. Obviously, it's like giving them a gift. People get really excited with crystals. It brings up the conversation of crystals. And again, this is a really cool way to transfer energy, to like say like I'm happy you guys came here. Thanks for coming here. Like it's strengthening the neural connection. So this is what I encourage people to do in their locations. If you have buttons, you have the power. You have the power to create a paradigm shift community, because every single button that you give to someone, the button in itself is like a gift as well, right? So that's like people remember people who give them buttons. Like that's just kind of how it works, right? So I mean, and in the same way people remember people who give crystals, and that's it's just a really cool thing. And again, with the buttons, the most effective way just to add like the full ingredients to this tactic, and I hope you guys are taking notes if need be, but it's pretty straightforward. The other part is to have like a little pamphlet. So you give people the button, and then afterwards you give them the pamphlet, and you say, oh, by the way, this is an open discussion group. We have it every Friday. You're invited, yada yada. And then they're like, cool, and then at that point the seed is officially planted. Like you have done what you need to do. The information is in the person's hands. They will show up when they're ready, which is a totally cool thing because like that's how it works. Like people find out about Paradigm Shift communities and they're just like, oh, okay, yeah, and then maybe like a month later they'll hear about it again. Like, actually, you know what? Like I've been meaning to go check that out, and then you do, and then what happens at the community meetings is that there's friendships. Like community is created, community is built, and that's a big thing that I like to put my energy towards is building community, both physically here in London, Ontario, Canada, as well as digitally, which includes you guys who are listening to this show tonight on Paradigm Shift Radio, and I'm totally excited that you guys are here because we are now in our second year of shows, so that's a pretty awesome thing, and I'd like to be able to continue to evolve this show. So of course, if you guys have feedback, suggestions of guests, anything that you want to see, any direction that you'd like to see the show potentially explore, feel free to mention them to us. We always want to be able to hear back from you. And again, you can message the Facebook page at facebook.com/ParadigmShiftRadio is one simple way to do that. So hold on, I just want to see, I have someone who's in the queue, but I don't know if they're actually queued up. Their Skype is showing up as live. Like it just says live, so I don't know. I've never really seen that before. But I was looking to hear from Roscoe from Paradigm Shift Dresden. Roscoe from Paradigm Shift Dresden, if you're listening to the show, just send me a message over Facebook. Let me know if you're like in the queue, because right now there's only one person who's on the line. Sorry, but like they're not even in the queue. They haven't queued up yet. So that is Roscoe. Okay, so let's bring on Roscoe. And we'll go from there. We'll see how things are evolving in the Paradigm Shift Dresden community. So again, like think of this as like, you know, listening to Paradigm Shift Radio is a way to get updates on the shift that's happening all across the world in these different communities, as well as to receive updates on proven successful tactics that work for your area and can work for any area. So remember, buttons. You guys know. So again, if you need buttons, contact me on Facebook, and I'll be happy to hook you up with buttons. So button power, yeah. All right, Roscoe, I'm going to bring you onto the air. So presuming this is Roscoe, we're going to bring you on. Here we go. Hello, Roscoe?
What up?
Yo, oh, sick, man. Okay, perfect. Cool. All right, so Roscoe from Paradigm Shift Dresden, which is also in Ontario, facebook.com/Paradigm Shift Dresden. And yeah, man, I would love to hear how things are going on your end of Paradigm Shift Dresden. Last I heard, you guys were having regular meetings, and those are going pretty well.
Yeah, we're still having regular meetings every Sunday at 4 o'clock. We had like a whole bunch of people show up to maybe like the first 5 or 6 of them that we had, but lately we haven't had too many people showing up. So we're probably going to like discuss ways, like more creative ways to get people to start coming. Before it was all just like word of mouth, but
yeah, true, man. Oh, okay, hold on. I just got keep talking, Roscoe. I just got to that would make sense why less people are probably listening to the show right now. I accidentally put up the post. Yeah, why did no one tell me that? Like, guys, this is exactly what I'm talking about. My competence is like only as effective as our ability as a team to be able to recognize when I'm incompetent, and then we can correct each other, and then we can like keep going forward. So, well, I'll just laugh it off, but I'm just gonna repost in a couple places to clarify for people. But Roscoe, again, like, even just if you'd like what have been some successes and even what have been like some challenges within your community, because that's always the thing that comes up with any community that's being built. Having conversation can be a challenging thing because a lot of us aren't practiced in doing so. So what's been some experience for the things in terms of that with Paradigm Shift Dresden?
Well, originally we were having our meetings in Chatham just because it's kind of a bigger city. But we had a hard time. Like, we were at a yoga studio and we did a couple meetings there, and we had maybe like 10 people show up, which was good. But we lost that yoga studio, and then it came down to the issue of a lot of people couldn't get rides to Chatham, and a lot of people in Chatham we couldn't really get the message out to. So basically it just came down to where are we going to have our meetings, and we just finally said we're just going to have them in the park. And that's when...
Interesting, yeah.
In Dresden, yeah. And that's when a lot of people just started coming. But it's been dying out, and I think it might be the heat mixed with the mosquitoes where we have our meetings. So we might have to figure out something else.
Yeah, I mean, right now you guys said you're doing yours on Sundays. Is that what you said?
Yeah, Sunday at 4 o'clock.
Yeah. I mean, for us in Paradigm Shift London, we do ours on Fridays. Friday's always fun because if you do it, our last meeting we migrated to the park, which was again, a cool decision, and we like meditated in the park while the sun was setting, and like just kind of being conscious of the fact that it was like going behind the trees, and did a little bit of sun gazing myself personally. But yeah, like I think it's always considered the possibility of trying a different time, like maybe a different time of the week opposed to Sunday, but Sunday is a very possible day. But anyways, yeah, like just kind of brainstorming. So Roscoe, anything else that you'd like to add in terms of updates? Or
I don't know, one idea we had was to buy like roses, but not like real roses, just buy like the little $2 roses and go out on the street and hand them out. And we were going to film it, but then we thought, no, we'll do it, but we won't even film it, and we'll just kind of, make it look, it seems more genuine almost when somebody just kind of comes up.
Yeah, sometimes you need to like do stuff like that without a camera. That was a big case with me with the buttons. My button experience, because when I first like really started doing it, it was during a festival that was happening here, and pretty busy and everything. And I'm just like, all right, I just want to be able to not have to worry about whether or not I should theoretically be filming this, and just focus on like connecting with people in the moment, and not have a camera there. So yeah. Sometimes you just got to do that experience the first time around with like no documentation, and then it works, and then to go back and be like, yeah, okay. So, but yeah, people can document, like, one thing just, with Paradigm Shift stuff, those of you who've been following in the past, we've done stuff where we've like held signs out in public that have like thought-provoking messages on them. So simple message would be like, open your heart, and then like, as you think, so shall you become. And then we had like other ones like you're like, the long one was, we are a collective consciousness experiencing itself subjectively. So like Bill Hicks, and we had those like along the side of the road so cars would see them. And people who are interested in these can download the templates at paradigmshiftcentral.com/plant-a-seed, because that was originally part of this like Plant a Seed project, but admins have like access to those as well within the Paradigm Shift communities. But that and like free hugs was the other thing I was going to say. Like if you are looking for things to do in your community, free hugs are definitely something to do, because that's what I was doing with my buttons. I had on one side of my button sign, it said like awesome buttons, only $2, and then on the other side of the sign, it said free hugs. So like I would give people buttons, and then I'd be like, oh, by the way, I also have free hugs, and they're just like, whoa, awesome. So whatever it takes to make people smile. If you can make people smile, that's an awesome thing to be able to like bring into this world. And Paradigm Shift communities, when you get a good group of people together who actually are compassionate about like bringing more consciousness into this world, that's one of the things that you can totally have fun with. And we'll hear about other tactics from other communities, other ways that have worked with them. So like Roscoe was saying, like even giving roses, there's all sorts of ideas. So it's pretty exciting. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
somebody just messaged me. He said that you could even make paper roses with different stuff written on each petal.
Oh, that'd be an interesting idea. Yeah. I mean, yeah, like I think back to my buddy Ian, who we had on a past episode, and he just had like a chalkboard outside of his house, and every day he would just write like some inspiring message on it, or just some thought-provoking message on it. I mean, the amount of ways that we can like sort of plant seeds and bring consciousness into this world, it's just as unique and as infinite as our creativity itself. So it's something really cool. Mm-hmm. Cool, man. Well, okay, that's good to hear on the Paradigm Shift Resin update, and we are about 25 minutes into the show as it is, and it's only going to be a 90-minute show because we did start a little bit late today, and part of the reason for that was because like I synchronistically missed a bus. And if those of you who've been following my YouTube, you would have seen I've been putting up these videos. I've been doing like a synchronicity log, and I was actually like taking note of other stuff that I could put in like the synchronicity log. And like synchronicities are just like it's an everyday occurrence, and it's a beautiful thing to be able to recognize the synchronicities when they happen. Oh, my buddy David, he had like a sick David Weber. He had a sick like a letter allogram. No crap. Always anagram for like spotting, and it was like synchronicity that is like just like too bang on and like too obvious to like not be trippy, but I'd have to double check. But anyways, I'm just saying those moments when you just get like synchronistic stuff that's just like crazy bang on. Yeah, maybe I'll get into that later though, in terms of like what's been happening with me recently. But Roscoe, we do have another caller on the queue, and to prevent myself from just like babbling on continuously, sometimes I'll do that. We're gonna bring on another caller who's calling in from area code 518, and let's get things rolling here on this roundtable discussion. I mean, thank you everybody who's been tuning in for us, and yeah, I'm glad we got to share with you guys some tactics. But now let's get into the Paradigm Shift Radio style of things here, and really just take this conversation wherever it needs to go. So if anybody wants to call in, reminder, please do, because we can have more people in this conversation. I'll keep Roscoe on if he's sticking around for a bit. Is that cool, Roscoe? You gonna stick around for a bit?
Yeah, man, that's cool.
Okay, cool. And then we'll have this other caller on, and then we can have, a couple more people on. So if you would like to tune in and call in, please do so. Call in through Skype. You press the Skype icon next to the host call-in number up at the top, or dial in on the host line at 347-539-5493. That's 347-539-5493. So opening up the lines here on Paradigm Shift Radio for roundtable discussion, Paradigm Shifty style. All right. Caller from area code 518, we're going to bring you on to the air. Here we go.
Hey, what's up?
Hello, caller. Can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you. How's it going?
Awesome. Caller, please, what is your name, where are you calling from, and what would you like to bring to the show tonight?
My name's Tim, and I'm from Philmont, New York. Upstate
man.
New York. Upstate New York is better. You might know where that is. So yeah, I was calling in to bring up, to talk about maybe like the biosphere collapse, just all the deep shit that I feel like people are in like denial about, like biosphere collapse, the economic collapse that's probably coming in the country, and just the breakdown of infrastructure, the biosphere, and just the like radical changes that I feel like even in the spiritual community are just like, I don't know, I feel like people are still kind of almost in denial about like how crazy shit really is too, and like how bad shit seems to be, and like, you know what I mean though?
Okay. What would you suggest? What would you suggest, like, for people who don't know anything? What would be like just like 3 of the main things that you feel that people should be like waking up to, so to speak, or just be more aware of?
Probably just the suffering that's going on the earth, like as in like killing of animals for meat, and like the fact that there's like so much food that's wasted, and then there's so many people who don't have food, and then I don't know, just how like in America we live on like infrastructure, and I just feel like any day like it's just like they're just chugging us along with this huge bubble, but when the bubble bursts, like we could really be back to the Stone Age, and like what are people gonna do when that happens, if that does happen? I'm not like, I obviously don't know what's going to happen, but obviously hoping for miracles, but like I feel like we may be in denial about that stuff. I don't know, like.
So I guess like what would the ultimate question is just like, all right, yeah, we can recognize that like stuff isn't really working out with everyone's best interest in mind, but like out of all that, what would you recommend that people like focus on more within their life in order to start making like the small changes? Because kind of what I was mentioning at the beginning of the show, right? Like not all of us can change the world, but through making like the small things like individually, we can make small changes.
It's got to be individual. Yeah, it's got to be individual change. I would say, yeah, that's the only way. I'm sure you can't change other people or anything like that. It's got to be from within, which is what we're all doing, I guess. So
like even
I don't really have any
Well, I was just gonna say, like, even you know, just like from a moral side of things, being what you were saying, like being aware of just how, like, you know, it's kind of, when you look at it, like, there almost is like this genocide going on for the amount of food that, like, with specifically the amount of animals that we sort of like, go through on a daily basis. And, like, I mean, that's something that I really didn't like bring inside of my bubble until more so until like kind of recently within my like journey sort of thing, where I'm just like, crap, you know, like that does suck. And over time it just like made me far less excited about eating meat in general. And now, like, I'm not vegetarian, but I do eat far less meat than traditionally what I did in the past. And that's like a conscious moral thing, just expanding your awareness of all of your environment, right? So, but it adds up because then like people see that and they're just like, wait, you know, like where is he coming from? I want to like understand or something, because I would hope that is just something more people open up to, because it is I think it has like moral implications. So yeah, I mean, shout out to everybody who's actually like vegan and everything. I think that's pretty cool, and just vegetarian. So yeah, what about anybody else? Yeah, go ahead, just jump in on that.
Yeah, I've been just starting to become like vegetarian too, just because it's like, I mean, I've been eating meat too, but it's just like I just feel like I'm in denial, because like every time I eat it, like I like, you know, like if you're eating it, like somehow you must be unconscious while you're eating it, because you know deep down that like, you know that like there's genocide taking place on your behalf to eat that. So like you have to be unconscious to eat the meat. And so, like, as I become more conscious, I can't eat the meat, like, period, you know, just because it's, like, so, I don't know, it's just, that's what's on my mind, so, you guys take it wherever.
Well, thanks. I was just saying, like, right now, while we're, like, talking about this, like, I just prepped myself a snack ahead of the show, and, like, I think some people who are so attracted to meat, I just don't think they've been presented with like some of the deliciousness that non-meat alternative food can provide. Like right now, I mean, it's simple, but I'm just having like oatmeal with like almond cereal. But in addition to that, in my oatmeal, I have these pomegranate seeds, and like those of you who have had pomegranate seeds know what I'm talking about. Like, I think there's only two people in this world: those who have had pomegranate seeds and those who haven't. So, but they're like so bomb is my point, man. They're just like so delicious and everything. And I have far much more enjoyment eating these delicious pomegranate seeds than if I was like eating a bowl of like, you know, like beef chili or something like that, you know. So
totally.
Yeah, man. Roscoe, what about you, man? Like, what's your stance on, like, just eating meat or food or whatever?
Well, it is, like, disturbing. I think that's, like, the only time I've ever actually wanted to kill someone is when I watch them abuse animals or, like, watch those PETA videos they put up. But I don't know, man. It's hard. Like, we're in a society where they make it seem like it's normal. There's nothing wrong with it. We've been doing it for thousands of years, but I do see why it's wrong. Like, yeah, and industrial farming, that kind of pisses me off too. But I totally understand what he's saying, but I haven't went like the full, like I'm not a vegetarian by any means, but I don't know, maybe it's one of those little changes that you were talking about making at the beginning of the show.
Yeah, it's a stepping process, I think. I mean, yeah, one of the best ways to like choose to go vegetarian is to be able to experience the benefits of it. You know, some people will get like a little bit more specific and just talk about like how eating the flesh of the animals carries with it the energy of like what the animal went through while it was alive and everything, right? Which is why the natives were so conscious with their food and so conscious to like limit the suffering of the creatures that they were consciously bringing into their, you know, to help them survive, basically. Like, it wasn't really an option. Like, that was, you know, they needed that energy so they could continue to live. So it was like a sacrifice. It was an offering from Mother Nature herself. I was just gonna say, getting a little feedback. Is that from? Is it Tim?
Yeah, my name's Tim.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. No, I was just saying I wasn't sure who was getting feedback there on the other end. But guys, we do have we do have another caller, so we're going to bring that other caller onto the air and just continue to open up this circle a little bit more, and whether we're going to continue talking about, the benefits of, like, not eating meat or moral and conscious decisions of it, or just continue to move the conversation along to anything that people want to bring into it. That's totally fine with me. So caller from area code, or actually they're not queued up, so I don't want to bring them on for sure. But caller from area code 763, if you want to be brought onto the air, press 1 on your keypad, and then I'll know for sure if you want to be brought onto the air. So shout out to everybody who, okay, they do want to be brought on. Okay, shout out to everybody who's in the live chat right now. I just want to give like a few shout outs to people who we got in there. So we got AKX, Brubard or Bard or something. Everyday Connections here. Shout out to Rick. Shout out to Hank, shout out to Idle Flowers, shout out to Jarrett and Jeff and Kevin and Fedge and Maggie and Roscoe, obviously, and Shane and Taylor. And the DMT Shaman Experience is someone's name. Nice. And shout out to Tony. Cool. All right, so guys, let's continue to keep things moving along right here. And yeah, I'm having fun. Like, this is what I enjoy doing, is getting to know each other better and building those bridges and practicing having conversation, right? So that we can all learn from each other, because we're all just like God or something, right? Oh, I think we just lost Tim. Okay, Tim, if you want to call back in, feel free. So caller from area code 763, we're going to bring you onto the air before we lose you. Oh, no, okay. All right, here we go. Hello, caller. Can you hear us?
Yes, I can. Hi.
Hi, caller. Caller, what is your name? Where are you calling from? And what would you like to bring to the show tonight?
My name is Tony. I'm calling from Minnesota, and I just kind of wanted to add to the conversation that we were having earlier about the being vegan and everything.
Go for it.
I recently made the switch to being vegan, and I think a lot of it has to do with just knowing what's in your food and learning about that. My journey kind of started with going vegetarian 2 years ago, and it just made me feel better overall, and that kind of led me to do a little more research on what I've been eating and what I've been including in my diet and what I've been supporting. Before I was actually vegetarian, what I was supporting. Like, I recently just took a road trip out to California, and I was surprised as I was driving through so many states between here in Minnesota and California. There's CAFOs, concentrated feed operations, where they just have millions of these cows out in fields, and there's no food, no water. It's really hot out there, and I didn't realize that I was supporting things like that. And I guess just being vegetarian, kind of prompted me to look into more of those kinds of things, and eventually led to me being vegan. And so I try to cut out as much of that support that I was giving the bad companies that that do treat animals unfairly and things. And I mean, it's not all the companies, not everybody treats animals unfairly, like super terrible, like I don't know what I'm trying to say here, but to digress, I guess, yeah, I didn't want to support that anymore.
Right,
that's kind of why I made the switch.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's all about making informed decisions, and learning what you're supporting in even indiscreetly or unknowingly supporting unfair animal treatment, stuff like that.
Yeah, like everything that we do is kind of like a vote with our energy. What we sort of want to continue to put it towards. This whole conversation for me kind of runs parallel to even just, you could compare it to the theme of like recycling, and just sort of just like taking that extra conscious step to actually like be considerate about like what plastics you're using and evidently what that's supporting. I mean, you don't want to like go, you can become as aware as you want to be, but you don't want to like drive yourself too crazy just in the things, because you could think that like it's like, wow, this entire society was like built around us upon like the blood of like innocent people who like helped build it hundreds of years ago. It's like yeah, it kind of sucks that happened, but I mean, you know, like our responsibility from here is to recognize that like that sort of sucked, but then to be able to like bring forth a new future, to say it's that process where by going through what you don't like, you figure out what it is that you do like. Kind of a simple example that people can sort of think of, like even just like George Bush, when he was like elected for his second term, a lot of people were like really upset about that. They're like, oh, there's no hope for the world. And then the other side of the coin is that out of George Bush like being president and stuff, it gave us the opportunity as like light workers or conscious people to really say like, all right, this is what we don't want, so like what is it that we do want, and then to like put energy towards that kind of thing. So no, it's just it's sure. Yeah, you know, I'd like to think that like highly evolved alien species and stuff like don't just like slaughter their food in that way. I don't know. It depends which path they evolve down. Like who knows, man? Like that's because maybe they could just like I don't know, man. I don't know. We need to get some aliens on the show. We need to get some firsthand.
Yeah, but I guess that's something that you know everybody can kind of contribute to. That could be a small.
Yeah, man.
A small contribution by everybody is just to, you know, kind of look into what you're unknowingly supporting, or you know, if you don't know about certain things like your diet or you know certain products that you're buying, you look into them a little bit. It's really easy to change that and support things that you do like, and that's something that everybody can do to help make the world a better place.
For sure, man. Roscoe, do you have anything to jump in on?
I don't. No, not really.
Cool.
I don't know, man. I'm just kind of like I am a meat eater, right? So it's kind of.
You're a meat eater.
Well, I don't know, man. I said that I would like stop eating all meat, like as long as I could still eat steak, but see, even that's like.
Well, even meat eaters can do some things like you know just by grass fed instead of
organic meat.
Mass produced, like I was saying, the CAFOs, But the CAFOs, if you buy from the CAFOs, like that's where McDonald's gets their meat from. Those animals are treated unfairly, but there are places where you can get meat that is, you know, from animals that are treated. You know, they live out their lives in fields.
Yeah, like a legitimate farm. Yeah.
Yeah, this is why we all need backyard chickens.
There's tons of. But what about where our digestive system is only designed to like intake fish or birds? Like we're not even supposed to be eating red meat. Like it's not even like built into our system to be able to handle that, and we eat so much of it. Like
naturally, our bodies can't even digest plants. Actually, we have a bacteria in our stomach that we're actually born with.
We can't digest plants. Is that what you said?
Yeah, we have a bacteria that it can't break down the cellulose in the cells in plants. Without this bacteria we have in our stomach. It's kind of an interesting fact, but
I've heard the other idea that like that humans actually evolved so that we were actually like supposed to be plant eaters. Like the meat eating thing was just something that we like developed as a habit.
It kind of was, but it's a symbiotic relationship with a certain bacteria that's in our stomach that allows us to digest plants, which is really cool. I had just learned about that after becoming vegan as well.
Okay.
So we still get all the nutrients and everything we need from them, though.
Oh yeah, we digest them. We can still digest them, but only because of that symbiotic relationship.
So Tony, what would you say are some of the benefits since like you've chosen to go vegan for you?
My biggest benefit so far has been energy. When I wake up in the morning, there's no more of that lethargy. I can wake up and I snap awake. And after you eat a big Thanksgiving dinner or something like that, turkey, mashed potatoes, stuffing, and you just lay around after that because your body has to digest all of that. And it's a lot more work to digest meat than it is to digest plants. So you don't get any of that lethargy and just tiredness after a big meal, which was another benefit. A couple of the other ones are, you can avoid a lot of diseases, cardiovascular diseases, heart disease, cancer, diabetes, things like that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Can vegans still drink coffee? Sorry, I'm just curious.
What was that?
Coffee.
Do vegans still drink coffee if it's like all natural or like all organic coffee?
Yeah, I buy all organic coffee.
Oh, nice.
It's just no animal byproducts at all. So you avoid like butter and milk, cheese, things like that.
Yeah.
As well as meat, obviously.
Right.
Interesting.
What about sugar? That's like right out of the.
Yep, comes from a plant.
Oh, really? Okay, wow.
Sugar cane.
Man, it was funny because kind of going back to like what we were sort of branching on earlier, like the idea that society just perpetuates this idea that eating meat in such a way is like okay and normal. And it's funny because like I see the sort of same thing perpetuated with like pop and sugar with like Coca-Cola and Pepsi. Just like when I went to go see I saw Pacific Rim, by the way, which is an awesome movie, and we could like talk about that probably if anybody wants to talk about. If people want to talk about movies, I want to hear in the live chat if you guys want to hear my review on Pacific Rim. But what I was gonna say, before the movie, there was like the trailer for just Coca-Cola, and it was just like talking just about how it made it seem that Coca-Cola was like this essential cornerstone for someone to achieve happiness in their life. Like legitimate happiness began with Coca-Cola, or just like it's just like so bizarre because I'm just like, wait a second, that's like just like pure poison, that stuff. It's just like I cannot think about pop the way how I used to think about it in the same way. Just when you realize like how bad pop actually is for us. Like it literally is just like, poison. Oh, it's sugary. Like people, they get a kick out of the sensation, but like that's exactly the point. They want you to like think it's delicious, but they don't want you to think it's poison either. So, but like everything's poison. So.
Yeah, I mean, even some vegans are not good at being vegan because, I shouldn't say that, but they're not doing themselves a favor by being vegan just because they keep buying the junk food like ramen and pop and stuff like that. Yeah. I've got a couple friends that they live on ramen and Doritos and call themselves vegetarians, but I mean that's not really helping them in any way. But I mean there's a lot of veggies and stuff too use pesticides. A lot of farmers use pesticides, and that if that's on your food and you ingest that can also be bad for you. So you have to kind of know where your veggies are coming from. So, like, being vegan isn't just, a solution in itself. You have to kind of look into where your food is coming from as well. Usually you want to buy local.
Yeah, support local, buy local. Definitely.
Yeah, so you can avoid those pesticides and more poisons.
Yeah, no, it's definitely stuff to keep in mind, I mean, we can choose to ignore it. We can choose to just be like, yeah, whatever, it's not a big deal. I mean, like, even for me, not too long ago, I switched shampoos. I was just, I was using shampoo, and I'm just, like, in the shower, and I'm just, like, looking at this bottle, I'm just like, I don't trust this. Like, I just don't like the idea of, like, putting this against my skin. I'm just like, what is this stuff, right? Like, so then I just, like, went out of my way, and I just connected, there's these really cool native people who, like, do their own, like, soaps and shampoos and stuff, so I got hooked up with that, and, it actually, like, I feel more, like, comfortable doing it, for one thing, which is a big thing, and then it also is, like, healthier for the hair itself, so... And healthier hair equals more psychic abilities, so...
Of course.
I tell myself that, so it must be true. Anyways. Yeah, guys, I was going to say, we can sort of take this conversation wherever. One thing I was kind of interested in doing, I have a book in front of me. It's called 1001 Ways to Enlightenment, and earlier I was just sort of reading through it to myself, and there's like a whole bunch of mini quotes. Is somebody tapping? Can I just like... Is somebody like just sort of like subconsciously like tapping their toe or their pencil on their desk or something?
Yeah, that was me.
Okay. It was picking up. That's all I was gonna say. But yeah, here, let me read through like a couple pages of some of the awesome quotes that are here, and I just want people to just sort of like reflect and just sort of like try and listen to each one individually. This is gonna be like jam-packed speed run of like insightful, enlightening quotes. So I'm actually just gonna let me just mute you guys just for a second, just get the full effect of this. And I think we got Tim calling back in. He was calling earlier, or maybe someone else actually. But I'm just gonna bring you guys back on in a couple minutes if that's cool with you. So is that cool, guys?
Yep.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
cool.
All right. Okay. 2 seconds. All right. So then again, guys, if anybody else wants to call in, please feel free to call in. There's still 40 minutes left in the show. So okay, let me switch to So I'm just gonna actually, because like what I was reading at the very beginning of the episode was actually like this, and I'm just gonna sort of flip to a random page. All right. Okay, this is good. Oh, nice. Starting with a quote from Aldous Huxley. Very cool. All right, so I'm just gonna read through this, and I'm not gonna go like super fast, but yeah, just listen. This is almost like a meditative thing, so even just like take a breath. Yeah, I'm just gonna do that. So just like take a breath first. So just like gentle inhale through the nose, and gentle exhale through the nose. After silence, that which comes nearer to expressing the inexpressible music. Sorry, let me reread that with like proper tonation. After silence, that which comes nearer to expressing the inexpressible is music. Oh, okay, yeah, of course it is. Heaven is under our feet as well as over our heads. Our quest, finding enlightenment, is a lifelong journey. It is not necessarily our sole purpose in life, but awareness of it may accompany us and enrich our experience as we grow and learn through the years. Be self-aware, but do not be self-conscious. They are two different things. The foolish man seeks happiness in the distance. The wise man grows it under his feet. Enlightenment comes only when there is space for it. Build relaxation and leisure into your life so that your mind, as well as your body, is free to rest. If a man empties his purse into his head, no man can take it away from him. An investment in knowledge always pays the best interest. When you meet a new person, first find out who he or she is before telling them about yourself. Kindness and consideration are never wasted. He who asks questions is a fool for 5 minutes. He who does not ask a question remains a fool forever. I like that one. Enlightenment is a mystery, yet it is also as clear as day. And this is what I read at the beginning. The best way to answer a question is to show rather than to tell. To teach how to live without uncertainty, yet without being paralyzed by hesitation, is perhaps the chief thing that philosophy can do. We all have role models in life, whether good or bad. The trick is knowing who our role models should be, or whether they are the ones we should emulate. No one single person can change the world, but together, day by day, we can all make small changes. Life is what you make of it. Respect others, and you will learn to respect yourself. Sometimes the truth hurts, and you must find the right place and time to tell it. I long, as does every human being, to be at home wherever I find myself. Even in the darkest hour, we can look forward to the dawn. The gift of enlightenment is given to few, but is sought by many. A mistake is simply another way of doing things. Moments of enlightenment come to us all. It is making them last that is the difficult part. Just a couple more. The beauty of nature may often open our eyes to the beauty of our everyday lives. I like that. By focusing on regrets and hopes, we deprive ourselves of joy in the here and now. Climb the mountains and get their good tidings. We can only aspire to our dreams. We can't force them to come true. Understand what you can control in life and what you can't. You'll be happier for knowing that. So just a couple more. Learning how to cope with failure and disappointment is as important as learning how to cope with success, and equally enlightening. Adopt the pace of nature herself. Her secret is patience. Okay, I'm going to end on that one. So, adopt the pace of nature herself. Her secret is patience. Yeah. Patience is a virtue. Indeed, indeed. So I'm gonna bring on the other guys back onto the show, and yeah, you guys tell me in the live chat what you guys maybe thought about that, if that was cool, if you got some little tidbits out of that, and if you maybe want to hear some more. And also, guys in the live chat, what would you guys like to hear brought up in the last little bit of the show? And I would also like to be able to do a meditation, just sort of do a recentering meditation with like setting forth intention. And I'll make it worth everyone's while because I'll play my singing bowl. So that's what you guys want to work with. So I know you guys should be able to hear that. That's just a sample. You guys tell me, how does that sound? Enlightening. Alright, so that should be okay. So let's bring on more of the people, and it looks like we have a couple other callers. So we're going to do that, and let's make sure that we meditate no later than with like 15 minutes left in the show, depending on where this conversation goes. So callers from area code 763 and 516, that's Tony and possibly Tim. I think I just lost track of numbers, and Roscoe, and then another caller from caller area code 646. Though caller from area code 646, if you want to be brought onto the air, press 1 on your keypad, and then I will know for sure, because right now I can't tell. So Roscoe, I'm going to bring you on first, and I'm going to bring on the other guys here. So Tony, okay, guys, you can hear me? You hear?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Cool. Okay, cool. Okay, caller from area code 516. I'm just going to bring you on. I'm not sure whether or not this is Tim. So caller from area code 516. Here we go. Hello? Oh, okay. Hello, caller. This is obviously not Tim, so that's cool. Caller, well, please introduce yourself. Who are you? Where are you calling from? And what would you like to bring to the show tonight?
Oh, it's Maria Torres from Long Island. I've called before.
Hello, Maria.
Hey, Maria.
Hi. I enjoyed the quotes. Yeah, no, I'm just calling to listen.
Of course. All right. Well, let's Maria, if you're cool, just like chilling out. I'm gonna bring on a couple other people, and we'll see if they might have something immediate to bring up as well. So, caller from area code 646. I don't know if you want to be brought onto the air, but I'm gonna try bringing you on anyways. Unless you like drop out in the next second. But caller from area code 646, if you are ready, we're just going to bring you back on. And there's also a caller from area code 242. Again, if you guys want to be brought on, press 1 in the queue, and then I'll know for sure. So caller from area code 646, apologies ahead of time if you don't want to be brought onto the air, but we're going to do this anyways. So here we go. Hello, caller from 646. Can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you. Hello.
Cool, caller. Are you looking to call in to talk?
I'm in a funny mood today.
Okay, cool. Yeah, caller, that's not a problem. The mic's kind of quiet on that end, so caller, I'll put you back onto listening then, if that's fine with you then. Is that cool?
Cool. All right.
Cool. Okay. Thanks for tuning in, caller. Cheers. All right, so we do have a caller from 242 does have their information queued up, so they're ready to come onto the air. So thanks to caller 646 there. So caller from 248, I'm going to bring you onto the air now. Here we go. Hello, caller.
Hello.
Can you hear us? Hello.
Yes. Hello. How are you doing?
Right. Good. Caller, who are you? What is your name? Where are you calling from? And what would you like to bring to the show tonight?
I'm calling from London, Ontario. My name is Jeremy.
Oh, okay. Hey, Jeremy.
How you doing, dude?
Good, man. Good, man.
I was calling up, and I haven't heard vegetarianism brought up on your show before, and I've been a vegetarian for a long time, and I think like 7 years now, and I'm also making the switch to veganism. I know that someone else, I think your caller from Minnesota, was it, is making that switch right now.
Yeah.
My big thing is lately has been discovering coconut cream for my coffee, because that was my big hurdle, was getting the cream for my coffee, that whole situation under control. Other than that, Other than that, I think it's going to go pretty well. And then of course the cheese, that's the hardest part. But
cutting out cheese is the hardest part. Yeah.
like cheese is so good, so it's kind of a big thing. But so, well, what do you do for cheese? What do you do for cheese, Minnesota?
Well, up here we have a couple. Actually, we have a couple vegan pizza shops, Pizza Luce and Galactic Pizza, which are awesome. They use like a soy-based cheese, which probably isn't entirely, that healthy for you because it is concentrated soy. And I try to tend to avoid concentrated foods in general, like the white flours, white sugars, and things like that. Because they're things that our body usually isn't meant to digest in high concentrations like that. They're really refined stuff.
Right.
But yeah, there's soy cheese alternatives to things like if you get cravings and things like that.
Yeah, I noticed that I think maybe 10 years ago I tried one of those, and this was before I was a vegetarian, and I thought it tasted really bad. But recently I think I can't remember where this was, but I had something that was a soy cheese, and it was like the texture was really good. It was really quite good actually. So I was pretty happy with that.
Mm-hmm.
But,
they can mimic it pretty close. So it's actually really surprising, and it's weird to think that you're not eating cheese when you're eating soy cheese. But as for coffee, I mean, I unfortunately haven't tried the coconut cream. I really want to. I've heard a lot of good things about it, but I've been using like an almond milk. Almond or soy milk work really well too.
Yeah, you can get the cream so that it's basically just like the cream, but the coconut cream kind of covers the sweet side of it too, so it's kind of nice. That's something that I kind of discovered recently, but I'm just making my push towards that right now, and it's pretty good stuff. I wanted to call up and share my sort of theoretical benefits that vegetarianism or veganism could have on like a global scale, or actually more on like a personal scale, I guess, because there's a few different dimensions that it works that could work for the individual, and that's basically the idea that you can. It basically comes back to the idea of empathy, which I think is kind of like the big hallmark idea in a lot of the philosophy or counterculture social circles that I've talked to, is the sort of the primacy of empathy, where empathy is the sort of primal concept that heals everyone through this connection that we all have with each other, right? And I don't think that eating meat is necessarily bad, and as far as the immediate experience of the person. I think on a global scale it's really bad. I mean, it's the deforestation of the Amazon and a whole bunch of other things, but like if you look up in the main cause of deforestation of the Amazon jungle is beef cattle or beef cattle feed. But on a personal level, I don't actually feel like eating meat is bad for the individual, but I feel like it rather just keeps them from the possibility of experiencing greater empathy, because it's sort of like you can't look like if you were like killing people or killing things to sustain yourself, it's hard to connect with that creature, And so I kind of see it not as like a total negative, because I know like cats and dogs are omnivores, and I don't really see them as having a lack of character. Actually, they have lots of character. So for me, I think it is sort of like this idea that we could, if we, by not eating meat, it allows us to sort of expand an empathy practice to a greater dimension, where we, no matter what eyes we see, wherever we go, we know that we can connect with those eyes, because we know that we have no debt to the universe. So
I like there's kind of a good quote or just saying, and it's like, you can judge the character of a man by the way he treats animals. You know, because there's this idea that like animals don't ask anything from us. Like whatever we give to animals in terms of just like courtesy and how we treat them is really just like a reflection of our kindness and where we are. And yeah, totally, I agree. Like it's trippy when you think about the idea that, you know, these animals, like they literally are like people too. Like they're us just in different forms, you know. Like humans, the nickname for humans is the long pig, and that's because like pigs are very 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 similar to humans. And again, what you're saying, when you look into like the eyes of other animals, like out of all the shapes and sizes of us that we come in as different animals and everything, like our eyes are like this one consistent thing that's like very very eerily similar. So I think that's definitely a really good point, Jeremy. Just the idea of building empathy, and I think that's that would probably be the reason why veganism is on the rise. It's just this idea that like we as humans are just becoming like more empathetic. We're beginning to see ourselves in our surroundings. So I think it is a good reflection of where like the micro and the macro is. And I'd like to get more added on to that thought. And what we're gonna do, we're gonna bring on our buddy Rain. He's also a vegan himself, and you guys have probably heard him on past episodes, and I would love to hear his addition to this conversation. And one thing, because, you know, now this episode's sort of gone where it has, like this entire episode's almost kind of been relating around for the last little while about the topic of veganism and eating meat and the morals and ethics and conscious decisions behind it. So maybe Rain will be able to give us some like practical tips for people who may be considering making that choice to begin eating less meat or just moving towards being vegan altogether. So, Rain, if you're ready, we are going to bring you live onto the air with us here tonight on Paradigm Shift Radio. So, bringing Rain onto the show now. Here we go.
Hey, guys.
Hey, Rain. Right on, man. Good to hear you. All right, so Rain, you got that little introduction there. You're listening the last couple of minutes since you've joined us. So, anything that you'd like to add, go for it.
Definitely. Unfortunately, my friend's coming to pick me up right now, so I only have a few minutes. But I wish that was not the case. It sounds like a very interesting conversation. It is something I'm very passionate about. I've been vegan for about 5 years. Doing raw veganism, and personally I feel that it's one of the biggest changes we can make on a personal level that makes the largest effect on a global scale, because literally the most destructive practice, if we put everything into account, is animal husbandry or fishing. It's deforestation, monocropping, desertification of the land, massive amounts of deforestation, and even just if we think about, I mean, the methane gases. There's I could go on for days and days, but we could go down to every barbed wire that is out there to keep the cattle away from the roads. There's endless thousands, millions of miles of barbed wire and fencing going on, and I mean, if we look at what's going on in the health world today, we die of the leading cause of death is heart disease, and it's kind of a funny thing to think about. As you're mentioning, it's just eating meat is sort of taking away from our compassion. It's blind. I think we as humans are innately compassionate towards other animals, and we see it before we are sort of brainwashed out of it in children. And I mean, we're dying of heart disease. I mean, it might be a funny correlation there, but we are literally killing our hearts when we're eating this stuff. Like
the extra cholesterol. You don't get cholesterol in your diet unless you're eating meat.
Right. I mean, exactly. Yeah. And I mean, our bodies are completely able to biosynthesize their own cholesterol, all the cholesterol we need.
Right. Yeah. If you're on a meat-free diet, you're not getting any extra cholesterol, and
for sure,
and you don't get the inflammation of the heart. I like what you said about the deforestation thing. I think, and also that we've been sort of trained not to see that. really true.
I'm sorry. My friend is here to pick me up. I really apologize for jumping in and
Hey,
out
no problem, dude.
so quickly. But just as you said, I think the best thing to focus on is getting enough carbohydrates in our diet, because so many people go vegan and they're eating fake meats and fake cheeses the whole time, and they're just not getting enough carbohydrates, and they're literally starving their bodies. And they're like, oh, I just feel hungry all the time. I guess I might need meat in my diet, and they end up eating meat and cheese. But really just eat more fruit, eat more starches, potatoes, rices, pasta. Fruit's the best source of carbohydrates, but more smoothies, more salads, and my friend's honking outside. But thank you guys for this conversation. It's beautiful.
Thank you.
Very needed. Thank you. You guys have a good night.
Man. You too.
Cheers.
Later.
Ciao, ciao.
All right. Anybody else? Thanks for Rain there for joining us on the show. Anybody else who would like to add their voice to this conversation? By all means, please just raise your hand or jump in.
Oh, well, I was going to say that also in general, not just, taking meat out of the diet, but fasting alone is good. I have not done it in a long time, but there was a time I did it, and, it's in the Bible also. I just feel like it's a good way to sort of, well, if you want to take it on, you should use it spiritually, to sort of know that there's people out there hungry, and it just kind of reminds you how lucky we are, just for food, period, not just cutting out the meat. And I'm not talking about a long time, but, let's say it was, a weekend. I did it once before, and I started with just, liquids, and then it was just water, by the next day. But I went out in the park and was, in the sun, and, I just tried to make the most of my day while I wasn't really eating. But I believe it's not, it's a healthy thing. We eat way too much anyway.
Yeah, and I think even for a lot of people, they might feel it's the harder choice to put forth the extra effort to not eat meat. But I think if it's a harder choice, then that's actually more motivation to do it. I encourage people to look at decisions in their life and often consider why you're not making the harder choice, because that harder choice can help definitely move you towards more of who you could become. It helps just sharpen your senses or expand your awareness into a place that you haven't fully explored within yourself just yet. So yeah, no, I'd love to continue this conversation further. I think we can also do a meditation in the next couple of minutes. So, guys, just maybe to sort of wrap up this conversation, and then we'll sort of see what comes up in the last few minutes of the show. Anybody else have any sort of closing points that they'd like to add onto this topic? Maybe just words of the wise to our listeners?
I learned a lot about veganism, so thank you.
Yeah, I would just encourage people to kind of look into, what they are eating and what they're supporting by buying certain foods. People are compassionate, by nature. And when you see an animal, you're not going to treat it in a bad way necessarily. When you see a cow or something, your first instinct is to go up and pet it and stuff. And then to think that those animals are being killed for you to eat. It's kind of it's good to keep in mind that that's actually happening. Those animals are being killed, and they were, not always treated unfairly, but they could have lived, long, happy lives out in the field naturally. So I would just encourage people to kind of look into where their food is coming from and things like that. And there are personal benefits to be had as well. From, changing your diet to a more healthy one, or, something like that.
Yeah. Cool.
People should check out foodinc.com. That's how I really found out, and it really was hard to watch a little bit in the beginning, but it's better to know the truth. And at that time, after just watching foodinc.com alone, that's when I stopped eating meat. I was vegetarian. Then I tried to be vegan, but it didn't last long. But I did feel the best I've ever felt. And the only other thing I'll say is coconut oil is the super fruit. Coconut oil is amazing. Look into it. I was really into that then also. Even on your body, it's perfect for you. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's good for your coffee.
It's good for everything.
Coconut oil is really good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I put coconut oil in my oatmeal sometimes. Yeah. Oatmeal is one of my staple foods, so I'm sure it is for a lot of people. Yeah. Cool, guys. All right. Well, with that said, thank you to everyone who's been contributing so far. And, I'd like to be able to move forward into our meditation here, but I'd also be able to give you guys here in the round table a chance to sort of set forth an intention that we can sort of place within this meditation. So I encourage everybody to sort of put forth an intention with the underlying themes of community and gratitude and just strengthen our connection as a global community, keeping in mind that people are listening to this all across the world, and when we do take a moment to sort of gather our intention and to practice visioning a future, it definitely helps us be able to create those doorways that we can step through as we continue to fold towards them. So you guys who are with us here in the round table, so Tim, Tony, and Maria, or Marie and Roscoe, and myself, Brendon. So starting with Roscoe, just like short and sweet, just like literally just 2 or 3 words. What would you like to put into the intention behind this meditation for us to keep in mind?
I think that that boy, that George Zimmerman, that's what I'm putting mine into anyway.
What's that? Say that again.
That boy that George Zimmerman killed, and he just got off on it today.
Okay, I'm not familiar with all the full details on that, but I do know what you're talking about. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Just like compassion to the fact that other people are going through things like a lot crazier than what you might be going through right now.
Yeah, well, everybody's like just outraged by this kind of. So, I think maybe, yeah.
Yeah. Sort of like put some intention towards just like calming the peace there, stilling the water, or something, or just something. Yeah. Okay. Something to keep in mind. All right, Marie, what would you like to add to this intention?
Maria.
Sorry, I go back and forth. Maria, what would you like?
Oh, I didn't know if there was a Marie, but I'm Maria.
Oh, okay.
I would just like to be a pioneer in the tumultuous change of consciousness on this planet. And I don't know exactly what I'm going to do or how, but I don't have to know. I just know that I will be. And I'm grateful. And I wish the same for everyone.
Hell yeah, that's awesome. That's what the audience likes to hear, because that reminds them. They're just like, hey, yeah, that's me too. Like, I'm doing stuff. I don't know exactly what's gonna happen, but I'm doing stuff. Like, we're all doing stuff. So just keep doing stuff, team. We'll get to where we need to be. It's all in divine timing. So go to Jeremy, who is with us. Jeremy, what would you like to add to your intention?
I just keep on coming back to this empathy concept.
Yeah.
Once you connect with other people, like, I think everything just makes sense. And sometimes it happens really small level. You could be a carnivore, you could be a Tyrannosaurus Rex. You could be 2 Tyrannosaurus Rexes just sitting looking at each other. But once you connect with each other, you realize you're free from yourself. If you want to get free from yourself, and you also want to connect with everything else, you should focus on how we are connected on the inside. And also, I was going to say that I think it's okay that people experimenting with omnivorism and eating meat. I think that's all fine. Like, as long as you can connect with another human being, you'll get set free. And I guess the concept of just touching back with the vegan or vegetarian, if you are contemplating that, going that way tonight, or just focus on the benefits of it. And I wouldn't try to set some sort of mind trap to make yourself feel bad about it, because that's not going to...
Yeah, that's true. You don't want to guilt yourself into making these choices. Like,
yeah.
I don't think that should be the motivation. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Find the positive. Find something in it that, something that can open you up and make you feel better. Don't know that it's the right thing, and then try to tell yourself that everyone who isn't doing that is doing it wrong. Just try to get yourself into that mindset, because that's not a good place to be. So I guess my intention and my prayer is just to know that empathy sets you free from yourself, and it also connects you with the world at the same time. So it's like a double solution.
For sure, man. Sweet. All right. Thanks, Jeremy. That's awesome. And Tim, or is it Tony? Tony, who's with us.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to go into it with that same intention, the empathy and the connections that we as humans share with everybody else, as well as the animals and everything. So I was just going to kind of go into the empathy.
Cool. All right. So bonus empathy.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Okay, guys. So let's sort of like take all that and sort of like put it in our like magic cauldron or something in the middle, and just like our little like intention bubble that we can all put our intentions towards, and just keeping those in mind, and we'll bring those forward with us into our collective group meditation, synchronized meditation. So guys, I'm just going to mute you, and we'll just do this, and we'll just bring you on. We're going to probably run this meditation close to the last couple of minutes of the show. So I'm just going to mute you guys real quick, and thank you to everybody who's been contributing. So guys, I'm just clicking the mute buttons, and then we'll just be able to hear the audio from the singing bowl a little bit clearly. It gets a little noisy when we have a few people on there. And one thing I'll just mention real quick, guys, because I didn't mention it so far in the show, but facebook.com/journey-to-lucidity. If you haven't checked that out, please like the page for that, and you'll be hearing some more information and news about that project in the next few days. The campaign for that is ending soon, within the next 5 days, leading up to my birthday. So please, if you'd like to see that movie, contribute at the Indiegogo campaign, and that's linked off the Facebook page, obviously. And yeah, that's really all I just wanted to mention about that. And thanks to everybody who's been contributing. Wait, what? Hold on. Shane's telling me that my sound's gone. Can you guys still hear me in the chat? I'm pretty sure you guys can still hear me in the chat. I'm not sure why Shane said he can't hear me. But I don't really have too much time to waste here, so I would like to be able to move forward with this meditation. So just keeping open an eye. Is it okay, guys? We can hear you now. Okay, good. That's all I need to. All right, so let's get ready to move into our closing meditation. And again, using my singing bowl here, so you guys can hear that. And I don't, unless somebody else is hosting, if Vaughn is hosting, Vaughn, I'm going to message you on Facebook, because I don't even know if you're listening, for the after party hangout, because I have to wake up early, so we can't stick around for it too long. So anyways, this is going to be a short and sweet meditation, and a couple minutes left in the show, we'll wrap it up with that. So 6 minutes in total, and this will be just a 4-minute meditation. So let's all get comfortable, and again, just allow yourself to get in whatever position it is that works for you. And without needing to make this a challenge, just consider this an opportunity to use the next few minutes to crystallize concisely your ability to align your intention and project and envision, what it is that we want to see into this world, and take those moments to imprint those thoughts and project them out into the holographic matrix around us. So let's begin by taking a nice, simple, gentle inhale through the nose. Gentle inhale. Gentle exhale. And again, just allow yourself to get comfortable. Relax your shoulders. Gentle inhale. Gentle exhale. So with your eyes closed, just reflecting on the themes we were talking about. Focusing on empathy. Developing empathy within our life, and gratitude for all the experiences, for all the people who we have met and the people who we have yet to meet. So gentle inhale through the nose, and gentle exhale. Just allow your heart to illuminate with whatever truth it is that you'd like to set forth into this reality. Continue to do so. I'm just going to begin playing the singing bowl here. Gentle inhale through the nose. And gentle exhale through the nose. Knowing that we as a global community are connected, that no one is alone in this process, and that we are all moving forward one step at a time on this journey together. Gentle inhale, gentle exhale. Continue to focus, continue to project, continue to envision. So again, just bring your awareness back to your breath. Gentle inhale. Gentle exhale. Allowing yourself to connect with this moment where yourself and others are sharing this opportunity to help envision the world in the future that we wish to see. So again, just gentle inhale. Slowly begin to bring awareness back to your body. Gentle exhale. Return to the space at any point you wish. For now, begin to bring awareness back to your body and back to the room around you. And with that said, thank you everyone who has taken part in this co-creation of consciousness, bringing more love and light and information and knowledge and energy exchange into this world through this show, through Paradigm Shift Radio. And again, facebook.com/Paradigm Shift Radio, facebook.com and youtube.com/SkullBabylon. Find me there. And with last 30 seconds left in the show, I'm going to bring on guests and we're just going to say goodbye. So until next time, guys, please, if you enjoyed listening to Paradigm Shift Radio, donate at GoFundMe.com/Paradigm Shift Radio. Paradigm Shift Radio is free, and we keep it free by the contributions that you guys help contribute as a community. So again, GoFundMe.com/Paradigm Shift Radio, or donate to the Journey to Lucidity Fund, and you can get more bang for your buck, because that way we can also hook you up with the movie as well. So again, any contributions are greatly appreciated in helping sustain the show. And let's just bring on our other callers here before we say goodbye. So Roscoe and Tim and Jeremy and Tony, and I think we have one more bonus caller here. Bonus caller from area code 518, I think. I'm going to bring you onto the air, so, okay. Not to get too chaotic in the last couple of minutes here, but, okay, he dropped anyways. Okay, so we have Jeremy, Tony, and Roscoe. So, guys, just any last message you want to say, and we'll wrap it up here.
Just peace and love.
Cool, Roscoe. All right, Jeremy, Tony?
I second that motion.
I concur. And is that Jeremy who's with us? Is that... Maybe not. Okay, all right. So I think that's it for farewells and goodbyes. So again, guys, not really sure. Yeah, Maria did leave. So I'm not really sure if we're doing a hangout
no,
unless...
I'm still here.
Oh,
Unless
that's
you can
Maria.
hear me.
Okay, sorry. That's why I got the phone numbers mixed up. That makes sense. Maria, please say farewell to the internet.
Bye. Yes, love and light, same thing.
Okay. All right, guys. So we'll wrap it up there. So thanks again, guys, to everybody who was listening. I'm your co-host, Brendon, aka Skull Babylon. And until next time, we'll see you guys in the future. And with that said, let me cue the outro music. There we go. Awesome. All right. Okay. Bye, guys. See ya.
Bye, Skull.